It's time! It's time! It's JFW time!
All right, it's time to step in the ring with the greatest faction in podcast history. Just freaking wrestling, the JFW Podcast. I am your host, Nubby, the Amazing Turtle. And if you listened to last week's show, then you know that Travis T will not be joining me tonight. You know, unfortunately stubbed his toe and had to go wrap it up or something. No, I'm lying. Totally lying. He had some work-related stuff to do today, so I am in the driver's seat this week. Now, if you didn't hear about it last week, well, then that means you didn't listen to the show. And you know what that means? Well, I'm not going to go there right now. All right. I do have a special guest co-host. After thinking about it, you know, weighing the options, I finally came to the conclusion. I figure it's ARWPro Wrestling Week. Why not bring in a guy who knows ARWPro Wrestling? So, without any further ado, introduce yourself, special guest co-host.
For those of you unaware of who the hell no, that's not my catchphrase. Finally! No, that's another guy. Hello everybody, it's PX of the Lovely Intoxicated Men, and I am here to invade JFW. Turtle, thank you for having me on.
You know, I appreciate you joining me, because honestly, there was nobody else willing. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe Travis has the better approach, but I appreciate you nonetheless. And we're going to have some fun, for sure. I know I'm probably going to get fired next week, but what a way to go, right?
Well, you know, if anything, just let us know, and, you know, we got connections, so don't worry, we are job, and if you're fired, you will also be job.
True that. All right, before we get into the wrestling stuff, we got quite a bit. This might not be a 2-hour show. This could be 35 minutes for all I know. But I have a question for you, Mr. PX.
Yes, Mr. Nubby.
Do you like comic books?
I sure do.
Did you know that you can get them very easily?
Oh, do tell.
It's that easy. All you gotta do is go to our sponsor, CarterComics.com, where it is the one-stop shop for all of your comic book needs. I mean, whether it be grade or raw, Carter Comics does have it all. And here's the best part about it. Thanks to Freaknet Studios, there's a discount code called Freaknet, which saves you 10% on all your purchases at CarterComics.com. You can spend $100 worth of merchandise or purchase $100 worth of merchandise and save 10%. You can't beat that. But here is the topping on the pizza. They have 4 eBay accounts on their website that you can bid or buy outright, and you can use that discount code on there too. So you can bid for something and still save 10% on what you bid on. So if you bid $100, you're really only spending $90 if you use the discount code. It's not a promo code, because promo codes are like a one-night stand, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where a discount code is like a good relationship.
Ah.
So that's covercomics.com for all your comic book needs.
Write that down. Sponsor of the show.
That's right. All right. I hope I did that well. Not bad for my first day in the driver's seat. See, Travis always says I'm driving the bus anyway, when I'm throwing him under sometimes. So.
Yeah, sometimes he deserves it.
I'm not throwing him under this time. So he's going to throw me under the bus. Probably wrap me around the wheel after this. But that's okay. Do you have any, maybe wrestling news that you would like to share?
None in particular, but if people want to follow the lovely Intoxicated Men, you can follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitter. That we're trying to get kicked off of Twitter for some reason apparently now, but you can find us anywhere on social media on We Are the LIM.
How did you get that name, by the way? In case no one else has watched the Power Hour where you talked about it, tell us how you got the name.
So the name actually was coined by the King of the North himself, Gunner Brave. It was a triple threat match at Christmas Chaos 2021, where he won the title, and he dove from the ring post into the crowd onto, I believe, the Rocket Boys. It was in the Rocket Boy section at the very least, and we were sitting around there. So we had started a couple chants, "This is awesome," and somebody on Facebook had asked him who had started the chant, and he said it was some lovely intoxicated men around him. And I'm like, guys, we got a name. And, before we were all following Pro Wrestling Blitz, and they used to run out of St. Joe's Park, and they had some fan groups. My best friend's brothers had a group called the Drunk Swag Crew, so it kind of it reminded us of that. So, Gunner called us lovely intoxicated men chanting, "This is awesome," and, that was it. That's how it all happened.
Oh, Gunner's a pretty smart guy sometimes.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't do some of the stuff he does, especially when it comes to barbed wire, but I gotta give the dude credit where it's due. He comes up with a hell of a nickname. Mm-hmm. And he's a hell of a guy.
And a hell of a wrestler, too.
Oh, damn right. Damn right.
The things he does, I wish I could do, but...
Yeah. He steals the show every single month.
That's right. He does. Even when he was a jerk. When he was an idol.
That match with Grayson is probably one of my top 3 matches this season at RPW. Amazing match. Yeah. Amazing story.
I did wrestle Grayson one time. It was in a tag match. It was actually when the Turtle gimmick actually got its first, big pop ever. It was me and Nick Cutler against Brendan Conway and Storm Grayson.
Okay.
And we beat him. I mean, duh.
I think he was maybe a little shell-shocked after the match, Nubby.
He was.
I bet he was.
I can't remember if I pinned him or Brendan Conway. Either way, it's still a loss to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tag match. That's how it works. Okay, so I think we're going to get into the turdy. Here we go.
We'll blame Marcos for that. We'll fix it in post.
Yep. Turtle Indie Talk, where I talk about some independent wrestling that's happened or coming up. This past weekend, I went to an ARW show. Now, you did some homework, I believe, on ARW.
I did look into some of the matches just to see some of the names I recognized from Chicagoland indie scene. Quinn Whittick. That's the name that pops out to me right now. But, definitely wanted to make sure I had some familiarity with who the roster was and who was facing who. Didn't get a chance to see any matches. I don't think they've posted them online yet, but definitely have been, looking into it a little bit since you've asked me to join you tonight.
Cool. So you'll probably know some names, as I mentioned, going through. But yeah, the ARW is probably one of the best independent companies in Indiana. Besides Crash Test Wrestling, who I work for, amongst other companies that work out there. But ARW is like the top of the line, well known, probably the longest at this point. Before they were the ARW as they are, there was an ARW way back when I started, and I actually had one match there where I was a butler. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to find that match. I want to see that.
It either exists on their old tapes, which they probably don't exist, but it did exist on a VHS tape where I actually gave it away to a friend.
Tape traders, if you're listening, we need that Butler Nubby match.
Yeah. I have old pictures laying around. I could probably post them eventually. I was with the Empire, with Dave Allen, Kimberly Cash, a guy named Tony. That's his shoot name, but I don't remember his actual ring name. Funny story about that show is I wasn't supposed to wrestle. I was supposed to just be the butler, but someone decided to have an ego and didn't want to work for free that night because it was a free show, charity show. All the proceeds, all the money goes to a charity, and he thought he was above that. So I ended up taking his spot in a tag match, and I did okay. Lost, but yeah, Butler Jones existed.
Again, tape traders, we need that footage.
Yeah. I'd like to see that again. Because I had hair. Alright. So ARW had a show this past weekend. The show started out with Greg Glover. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name. Well known in the indie scene. He hasn't been around since he lost basically his title match. Now, he wasn't the champion, Nick Cutler was, but he lost the match to Nick Cutler and hasn't been around since. Pretty much his contract expired at the time, so he came back Saturday to talk about it. Talk about his future. It seems like we're hearing that about a lot of people lately. They're talking about their future, not sure what they want to do. Well, he announced that he got a contract extension, and he's going to be with ARW for the foreseeable future. So that's good. He's very talented. I worked with him before, way back a few years ago. But he said there was a guy that he just met for the first time that night and and he called him out, and he called James Creed. I'm sure you're familiar with James Creed.
I've heard the name, yes.
He's well known as SCW. He's been up at POW. It'd be cool for him to come to Rocket Pro. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Damien Saint or Nuke. Basically Greg Glover challenges James Creed to a match since they both had nothing to do, and James Creed wanted to prove himself, and he decided to put his number one contendership on the line that he just recently got by winning an over-the-top rope Rumble style match. He lasted over an hour in that matchup.
Wow.
Yeah. So he decided to put that on the line. So that match ended up being the main event, which we will definitely get to. All right. CMOS Dave ran a gauntlet against 4 guys who are new to the scene, students of the game, students of ARW. I did not get 3 of their names, but they're not that important because they lost. The last guy that CMOS took on was Josh Moon. Josh Moon, I was in a battle royal with not too long ago. He's talented. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Yes, he came up short, so CMOS Dave ended up winning the gauntlet. But don't sleep on Josh Moon. He's going to surprise us all.
Will be a name to watch for sure.
Definitely. Judas Chavez got the win over Mike Morris, another guy that I, had a battle royal battle with. Actually, he was the one that eliminated me when it was just me and him. Where I actually went for the pin, like an idiot, in a battle royal.
Oh, you pulled the Macho Man on him.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I'm in the zone and I'm, doing my thing, my finisher to him. I gave him the kick and then I'm like, okay, let's go cover him. 1, 2, 3, right? No, battle royal. I get lost in my own head.
I do too, but I mainly blame the old style. So I feel you, Nubby.
I just blame not enough pizza, or maybe too much. Although in my world, there's not enough. Judas actually cut a promo after. Now at that point, I actually took a phone call, so I did not get to see or hear everything he said. But a little bit of history on Judas. He has a group called the Horde. And he pretty much turned his back on his dad, and he hasn't been around since, his father. So it seems like he's really hurt mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would be too if your own son just turned on you,
Yep, I would say so. Not a dad yet, but yeah, I'd probably be a little upset. More than a little upset.
I mean, Travis says he's not good enough to be called a Judas, so I guess, sure, but he still turned on everybody, so he turned on family as you're still a Judas, in my eyes.
That's fair. That's fair.
He was a commentator before he did this Judas thing with the Horde, but the Horde was not all there. This time, just one out of the 50 that might be there. So I let someone help me take notes while I was there. I'm not going to even say what this person wrote. Well, let's just say it went a little too long. But anyway, the next match, another new guy, Georgie's Mash took on Monster 747. Monster 747's a monster. Big man, mask. He won via 2 chokeslams. Imagine getting chokeslammed twice.
Sounds painful. Very painful for whoever's taking it.
Have you heard of Casey Dillon?
Casey Dillon I have not heard of.
Oh. Well, you should look her up. You'll be impressed. She's very dark, but she's impressive, and she chokeslammed me before.
Casey Dillon. All right. Writing that down.
She chokeslammed Steve, too.
Steve?
Yeah.
He's an amazing soul. How could you?
Well, she has no soul.
Well, that would explain it.
Yeah. All right. The tag team tournament finally came to an end, as it was Youth Gone Wild versus Drinking Class versus Death Wish, which you know who Death Wish is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where shit got nuts. There was a chair shot involved. So what I'm going to do, I do have one thing to say about it, about the situation that happened after, but I'm gonna save it until the end of the results. That way I don't get off track. But just know, chair shot was involved, but Death Wish ended up getting the win and are now the new tag team champions of ARW. All right. Mikey Peterson of the Workhorses. Now you know the Workhorses.
Oh, I know the Workhorses. They beat up my Pineapple, and I'm upset about it still.
I would be too. Well, on the bright side, Dave Allen, who he wrestled, beat him.
Good, they deserve it. They beat up my Pineapple.
All right, so BOW got his Indiana State title back over JPH. No, actually, no, he didn't. I am wrong. See, I am allowed to be wrong sometimes. So, BOW won the match, but did not get the title. JPH was in a submission hold and slapped the referee flat top. And, the referee's got to call for the bell. He didn't see JPH tap out in the meantime. So I think there's some conflicting situations here. I still think if Flat Top saw him tap out, maybe there would have been a new champion then. However, the golden ticket holder, Nick Diamond, made his return. And while Willie, the Bomb Richardson, who was the enforcer of the match of JPH and BOW, pretty much knocked out JPH, which allowed Nick Diamond to cash in his golden ticket. And we have a new Indiana State champion in Nick Diamond.
All right.
Not something I would really condone by Willie. I mean, it's Willie Richardson. I thought he had a heart. But now it looks like he's aligned himself with the in denial Nick Diamond. Or he calls himself the undeniable, but he's in denial. But he was smart this time. Aren't people calling themselves the undeniable pretty much in denial anyway?
I think so. I mean, look at Damian Saint, for instance. I mean, he is in denial, and we're not just talking a river in Egypt here.
That's a good one. All right. So the next, there was a tag match between the family, Muggsy James and JC Manson. They took on the Workhorses, Wade Evans and DP3 Dave West. Workhorses shenanigans got in the way and beat the family.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. A lot of shenanigans. Charlie is not happy about this because, JC Manson and Muggsy James are prospects. They're not officially official, you've seen Sons of Anarchy, right?
I'm familiar enough with it.
They have prospects. You don't get the official cut yet. Well, they're not officially members of the family yet. They're just prospects. And it seems that they're not up to par right now. They still have a lot to prove and they're not proving anything. Charlie was really upset and walked out on him. And then the main event, Greg Glover took on James Creed. James Creed won via submission. So he is still number one contender. And in fact, he made it known that he's going to challenge Nick Cutler at the next event for the heavyweight title.
All right.
All right. Before we get into the next got some upcoming shows. So this past weekend at the ARW show, we had that triple threat tag match where shit happened. I'm not gonna make a big thing about it. Because on social media, it's already out there. There's a video of it. People said their piece. We all know where it's going. I said my piece to certain individuals after the show. Let me just say that prior to the match, I was, without breaking the fourth wall, I was giving information about stuff and things about what is going to happen. since it was in front of me. The incident happened in front of me, and I was told by a certain somebody who was sitting there about stuff and things. Basically, what I can say about this, if you have a reputation and it's not a good one, I think it's time to look in the mirror. If you've been in the business for this long and you have that reputation, look in the mirror. Maybe it's time. And change your ways. Because if you don't, you will suffer consequences. And from the rumblings, some of these consequences are hitting. Even if they're not physical, but things are happening now. I'm not going to say what. I'm not going to say who, what, and the where, and the why. Now, you don't have to change. If you still want to just continue being what you are, that's fine. But, again, continue down this road, you're going to suffer consequences. And that's all there is to it. I'm still going to be friends with people because they've done me right. I mean, until they really do something wrong to me, I won't consider them a friend. I'm disappointed in this, what just happened. To me, that is what maybe, what's that phrase? What's that phrase about the camel's back? How do you say that?
Oh, the straw that broke the camel's back?
Right. I think that's what it is. That, to me, this situation is what did it. I know for me personally, I'm still cool with everybody, but I'm not as cool. Just considering what I know and the information I was given to prior to the match. And if you think I'm talking about other people, well, then they're guilty of something. Because if you continue down a bad road, if you have a bad reputation, it is time to look in the mirror. Change your ways. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get into some wrestling, more wrestling stuff. Travis is going to kill me. I know I'm failing.
Well, here, I'll just say it. I'll just put it out there. Travis, you may be gone this week. You entered Rocket Pro Wrestling a few months ago, and you entered our world. And when we called you out and said that we were going to make sure that you knew that RPW was our home, you said, and I quote, that you're more than happy to burn our house down. And now you're not home, and now I'm in your house, I'm sitting on your couch, and I'm drinking my beer with my pal Nubby, and really nothing you can do about it this week. Nothing you can do about it in the following weeks. This is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the worst thing that he can do is take this show down after I put it up.
Well, I know some lawyers. I think, Eric Schultz probably wouldn't take this case, but.
No, I don't think I want to call Freiberg either, because he's a bit of a weirdo, and he's more corrupt than Schultz, I think. Nonetheless, I think we'll keep it. I think he'll keep it up because, after all, I believe on the Power Hour, your appearance has one of the highest views. So
we were the most viewed episode of the Power Hour on YouTube.
That's good.
So, and I will say, being real here, I think coming into, what we're doing now with RPW, I think at first that, I felt a little bit outside, that I was still a fan, that, all the opportunities that we've been given, I kind of had that imposter syndrome going. And, I know I saw you last week on Cactus's Appreciation Night, which is my favorite episode of the Power Hour, all time, easily. So the reason why we were on there was it was at Cactus's recommendation, and it's something I'm very, very grateful for because we got to listen to Bill Shelley, speak about us. As much as we don't like Damian Saint, he took some time to, hang out with us for a little bit, and C-Red gave us some flowers, and I think that started to put things into perspective for me. So, I always say that we're the most viewed, but it's so humbling because it's like, yeah, no, I feel like I belong in pro wrestling. And, I'm so grateful that, we were asked to appear, and I'm grateful even to appear today on JFW and help co-host with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think if you weren't going to be here, I don't think there would have been a show this week, because talking, having in the driver's seat alone, and having you here is struggle as it is. But I'm a little bit more relaxed. But if I had to be in the driver's seat with nobody on the bus,
mm-hmm.
and I got to drive this bus for hours, I'd be like, it's like driving at night, in a giant bus, and what do you do?
Right.
The radio don't work, and then I'm talking to myself, and it's just, I'm glad you're here. I mean, I probably could have called Power Hour Steve, but I don't want to take him away from his Monday of family night, so I'm sure he would have, but nah, we don't need to take him away from his family time. So
yeah, forget Steve. No, I'm kidding, Steve. I love you.
Speaking of the Power Hour, this week they have a special guest, a referee in Christian.
Oh, I can't wait for that episode. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear us, but you can rest assured that as we're watching the LIN, wherever they are watching the Power Hour, we'll be chanting ref, ref, ref for him. And we're really, really excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always interested to hear other refs talk about their time in wrestling. Because I think, we're all the same, but we're all different at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They have different ways of doing stuff compared to other referees, I know I do things a little bit differently than, what's another referee that we've had? What's his name? Angelo,
yeah.
Yeah. We've had him. He does things differently. So it'll be interesting to hear another referee's perspective on what they do.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I can't wait for that episode.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get into an upcoming show. Now, yeah, it's this Saturday along with ARWPro. But, wrestling is wrestling at the end of the day. So, if you don't feel like coming out to Joliet on Saturday and you're from the Wisconsin area, I have a show for you. Phoenix Pro Wrestling returns with Phoenix Attacks April 15th is Saturday at the Holman American Legion Post 284 in Holman, Wisconsin. Adults are $10 and kids 12 and under are $5. Bell time is 7 p.m. I'm going to assume doors open at 6. Not everything gets written down because I suck at my job. All right, let's get into the matches. Ultra Tigre will take on Wild Card Mercer. Now, keep in mind, I'm reading this off their flyers,
okay.
So I'm not familiar. This is the first time I'm talking about Phoenix Pro Wrestling, so I'm not familiar with all of the guys. So I apologize ahead of time. All right. The Summit will be taking on the New World Destruction. That's an interesting name. So they're the destruction in the New World.
The NWD.
NWD. Nice. Pain and Pleasure will be taking on Fully Loaded. The thoughts in my head on that one.
Reminds of me of LIM after a night at the matches at RPW. We're all fully loaded after that show.
Yeah. Beaumont will be taking on Panther Dark. Superstar Steve Stardom will be taking on DOC with Ms. B. Haven. And Thunder from Down Under, Justin Thunder. That's a whole lot of under in Thunder. Say that 3 times fast. Thunder from another. Yeah, I'm not going there.
Thunder from another mother.
Yeah, we'll go.
It's like an Eminem lyric.
Yeah. Rob E. Rebel will be taking on Robbie McCann. Crawdaddy Rod Hooks will take on Demented Jack, which is also Mad Dog Jack from IPW, who I've beaten. But he's very demented. Just Jake will be taking on Crazy Scott. And then Excalibur will be taking on Angus McDuff. Again, as Phoenix Pro Wrestling, I guess they're teaming up with New Age Wrestling on this show for Phoenix Attacks. Holman American Legion Post, 284. Holman, Wisconsin. Bell time, 7 p.m. Adults, you are $10. Kids, 12 and under, you are just $5. Just $5. That's it. Kids, you're $5.
Hear that, Rocket Boys?
Use your own allowance. Yeah, that's a good one.
Couldn't resist.
I knew you couldn't. All right. We're moving along here.
All right. So is it Rocket Pro Wrestling time?
It is Rocket Pro Wrestling time.
Oh.
You know what? How about you tell them when, where, how much tickets are?
Well, I sure can, my friend. So, Rocket Pro Wrestling presents Spring Break 2023 this Saturday, April 15th at St. Joseph's Park in Joliet, Illinois. Tickets are $15 general admission. Front row is $20.
No advance tickets. You get them at the door.
Right. Oh, doors open at 4. Bell time is at 5.
I love early shows.
I do too.
It's the right time. You still get wrestling at night, but then you get to go home early. Or go to another party.
Well, there you go, like we do.
Oh, yeah.
Or we're also famous for going to McDonald's after some of those shows, getting Happy Meals, wearing big gold belts in the middle of McDonald's. True story, by the way. I got the Princess Peach Happy Meal toy, so I was a very happy camper who just watched some great professional wrestling, and I had my chicken nuggets, and I was a very happy, lovely, intoxicated man that night.
Now the question is, did you drink more after?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but yes.
All right. That's right. They're presenting Spring Break. And this is not your ordinary Spring Break, okay, people? There's not going to be flashing, although there is a Flash Harris, but
my dad.
Your dad. It's very tamed. It's a tamed Spring Break.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. So there's no wet t-shirt contest, and we're not throwing beer. Well,
maybe us. Maybe
you and the Rocket Boys throwing them at White Girl Wasted.
The famous one-man fan group, White Girl Wasted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Santino.
Now, I could say something to him right now, but I know he doesn't listen to the show, so it'd be pointless. So we know what he can do.
Can I say it? I've always wanted to do it.
Go ahead.
Hey, Santino, buddy, What's up, friend? Listen, I understand you don't even listen to JFW, so, you know what you could do, Santino? Are you listening? Good. Here it goes. Santino, you can go fuck yourself.
Oh.
Treat it! Treat it!
Even the train is allowing it.
That is a train. The train is, you know, I got the train pop for that. There we go. There we go. So is that what it was like when Travis told the LIM to go fuck themselves? Is that what that feels like?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, so let's get into the stuff, the matches, and other things.
All
and
right.
I think we should start off hot. Chet. He's coming back.
He is, and we will be with him in some shape or form. We are a bit distracted right now with the issues of Gila Monster and Tony Gabagool, but rest assured that LIM will be with Chet Gunderson this Saturday when he returns to St. Joe's Park. And we're not just talking about the Chet head. The man, the myth, the job, the mayor of Cermak Road himself will be returning this Saturday.
Perfect. I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm so excited. When that song comes on and the kids, you know, are, you know, dancing and getting excited to see him, and you know, we at the show go out with Chet and give all the kids, you know, all sorts of different toys, and you see like that excitement on their face. It's just it's awesome. It's so much fun. So I think the kids have been missing that for the past couple months. Timmy Too Sweet is a great MC, and, you know, he still pumps up the crowd, even in Chet's absence. So it's going to be a 1-2 punch of Timmy Too Sweet and Chet Gunderson and the LIM this Saturday. And I think the crowd is going to be, as somebody would say, the crowd is going to go banana.
Banana.
It's going to go banana. Shout out to Pat Patterson.
Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna maybe jump around a little bit.
All right.
I'm gonna go out of order of my notes because, well, it's my show today and I can do that.
Perfect.
So now I know you guys do your predictions. Now I want you to give your predictions, but I want just very short version of actual predictions, not what you posted.
Got it.
Because that's a different universe. I want just from the heart or whatever, or your head or wherever you think from. So
I will pull up the prediction winners because I agree. If we read the entirety of predictions, it would be a 3 or 4 hour show.
It would. I mean, I just skipped to my part, and that's it. Although you did piss off Davison Sarai with that one. And that was some crazy shit.
And you know, when you counsel your patients to attack our man in the form of Chet Gunderson and then abduct him and then make us pay a ransom of hard Mountain Dew, I mean, at least it wasn't Bitcoin. That's a bit volatile. That would have been more complicated. But, you know, I think some people deserve to be pissed off. And Sarai, you know, doing what she did and guiding them to do what they did, you know, this season. Yeah, I don't feel bad for it whatsoever.
When it comes to her, you know what? We'll start with that match. Because I don't want to have to go back to her again. She's manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. She used her, you know, her degree and everything else to manipulate No Coast. And now she thinks she's in charge of everyone. And now she's threatening that she's going to bring in more. There's more to this than what there is now. I mean, I'm not scared, really. And the running joke of me going on my shell and not being able to get up. Okay, Pat, how many times have you seen me get on my shell?
Never.
Well, I was on my shell a bit, but I always got up, right?
Exactly.
Hence the name Amazing Turtle.
There you go.
So, stop the narrative, people. Just stop.
It was I blame Tony Gabagool for that one, but I'll deal with that later. At least you guys are good.
Yeah. I did work him at that show. I missed his hand one more time, and then, yeah.
Well, he was being a jerk.
Yeah. But he's okay in my book now.
Yeah. He's alright.
So, speaking of Davis and Sarai, the evil temptress, No Coast Drama. That's what I'm titling this match. No Coast Drama. Not Yes Coast versus No Coast. It is No Coast Drama. Brian Crazer with Joey Blues and her, Davis and Sarai, will be taking on Trayvon Wolf with DC Shaw.
So, here's what I think is going to happen. I definitely think that Wolf is going to win and pull out the victory. And the reason is simply that, No Coast can lose, and then that way they can look in the mirror and they can see who to blame. And everything is No Coast's fault, so, I think it naturally makes sense that Wolf will win and Shaw will be celebrating with him at the end of the night.
As long as the lightning doesn't strike twice. Because we all saw what happened last month.
That's true. He got aggravated. Trevin got aggravated and, struck. I don't think DC's going to make the same mistake because we all saw how frustrated he was after that match.
We all get a little frustrated. I've done it. You all saw what happened and what I did to, as I keep getting reminded about it with, Sean Danger, I caused him the match on accident. I let my emotions get to me. It happens.
But with the idols too, we can't really blame you for it because, look at them. They run roughshod. They act like they run the place. Technically, they kind of do because of the match at K-Con 66 last year. But, at a certain point, it does go a little far and it's a little frustrating. So I empathize, my brother.
Definitely. All right. Speaking of the idols, the idols, Damian Gray and Johnny Nye will be defending their tag team titles against the Coyotes, Brooks Berna and Damian Deshane.
So, the idols have held that title for a very, very long time. And we think that it's time that, for TDC to be those damn champs.
I think it's time for that too. It's time to finally dethrone these idols and let's let them, watch them implode. Because that's what's going to happen. When they finally lose these titles, they're going to implode. They have to.
Yeah.
They're nothing without gold. So.
Now, save for our dad Flash Harris, when that happened, LIM will be going to Captain Dave's and getting some popcorn and watching it all unfold. And probably we'll stop, get a beer on the way too. Why not?
Yeah. You can never go wrong with a beer.
Definitely not, and definitely old style. Chet turned us onto it, and I haven't turned away since.
Perfect. All right. Well, you mentioned them. So let's go there. Your daddy.
My dad.
Flash Harris.
Oh, I'm so proud of him.
Will be taking on Christian Rose.
Oh man, this was such a hard match, but realistically, you can't go against family, Nubby. So we're gonna say Flash Harris by way of passing the paternity test with flying colors. I think that, Flash hasn't caught much of a break, lately. Our dad is, he's a tough guy, he's a fighter, and I know Christian Rose is a fighter, but Christian Rose isn't our dad. I think it's as simple as that.
So you're biased.
I'm not biased. I think the match will go a certain way because of connections I have. Which is different.
Okay. So, what happens if Flash loses?
Then we're going to be very, very sad, and we're probably going to get a beer to, I don't even like thinking of it. I'm wiping a tear away. Just the thought of it. I just don't see it not happening. He's got to win.
Are you going to react the same way he does? Or he did when he found out he was facing Christian Rose?
Now that you mention it, I think if Flash's shoulders are down on the mat, I think we'll let out a collective, "Aw, damn!"
There's always a method to my madness.
Very good.
All right. Contract signing. Rion Skills and Maximus Orion. Or can we just say, for the hell of it, Orion?
That would have been a great tag team name for them. I mean, we said it a few months back in predictions. Maximus Orion. We could have had that team name. And we love Rion. We love the information liaison. But I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. But I think realistically, Damian Saint is overseeing everything. And he's promising a, no tomfoolery or shenanigans, but, I don't trust like that. And, I mean, I've seen every single contract signing in professional wrestling, like almost every single one. Yeah, none of them go that smoothly. So
they never do.
Somebody's gonna get hurt. But I believe if I remember right, this is for a last man standing match at Kickstart 66 for the title, for the intercounty title.
Yep.
All right. So there you go. There will be shenanigans, tomfoolery in a last man standing match next month.
If there's two things that always have, shenanigans, it's contract signings and weddings.
That's so true.
Name one wedding that has ever gone right.
I mean, Macho Man and Elizabeth at first, and then Jake came in with the snake. Didn't go too great. I mean, the remarriage of Stephanie and Triple H back in the day, that didn't go too great. Well, it went great for Triple H because he wound up winning the undisputed title afterwards at WrestleMania 18. So, I mean, it went great for some people, but, objectively, yeah, they don't usually go great in the moment.
Yeah, so I agree. This contract signing is going to get ugly.
I definitely agree. There may be Rolexes involved. Rolexes everywhere.
And ball shots.
Well, let's hope not. For Maximus' sake.
Or maybe Rion.
But he's still the information liaison. It's like picking between Flash Harris and Chet Gunderson. Between those two. We like both of them.
Well, okay. That's you guys. Me, on the other hand, I like Chet more. But that's okay.
Don't let Chet hear us say that.
For the Outer Limits title, the champion, Gunnar Brave, will be taking on Axel Rico.
So we predict, let me find it. Man, we really write a lot in these. Wow. Okay. So we think that it's going to be a very competitive match. Probably match of the night. This is a dream match for us. Gunnar Brave is one of the biggest up-and-coming stars in the entire Chicagoland indie scene. Axel Rico is CSW champion right now. And he's another up-and-coming name that we enjoy seeing whenever he's wrestling. But I think in the end, it's going to be Gunnar Brave that's going to walk out with the W. And walk into a 498th day as Outer Limits champion.
I happen to agree. I mean, I've been watching Axel Rico. I've been reffing his matches at CSW. He's winning championships everywhere he goes. Yeah, he has a great chance of beating Gunnar Brave. The only thing is, this is Gunnar Brave's house. However, there could be that just small little issue where he'll be thinking too far ahead. Because he's got Connor Hopkins at Kicks on 66, so.
Right. So will his mind be focused going into this match knowing that if he walks out with it, he's got Connor Hopkins he's got to worry about next. Right. But even then, we still think that Gunnar's going to pull it out.
I hope so. Oh, bad joke. Bad. Yeah, that match will be great. I agree, maybe match of the night. Just, two talented individuals and both want the same thing. So, yeah, it's almost main event quality.
Oh, I agree. Two guys of that caliber, they're going to put on a hell of a performance.
Indeed. Speaking of Connor Hopkins, he'll be taking on Eric Dillinger.
So, we think that Connor Hopkins is going to walk out with the win. He's very motivated going into this potential showdown with Gunnar Brave at Kicks on 66. He's got something to prove. He wants to show that he's just as good as Gunnar Brave, if not better. So, I think he's going to be very focused in this match on picking up a victory. And again, another interesting wrinkle in this is Eric Dillinger, Public Enemy, faced Gunnar Brave a couple months ago. Was that Cupid's Carnage? I believe. I think that was in February.
I believe so.
Oh yeah, that was the show where my ex made her RPW debut. Got to see, what me and my brother have been talking about all this time. She was starting chants during that match. So I've heard. My mom was very into that match. So, I think he's going to want to show that he's just as good as Gunnar by beating somebody that Gunnar has already beaten.
True. All right. 6-man scramble.
All right.
For the Chicagoland Championship.
I have a question about this one since I know you are in it. Nubby, what are the rules of a scramble match?
That is a good question. And I just watched one today because I wanted to see what I am in for. And it's basically a 6-way, beat the holy hell out of each other until there's a winner.
All right. Works for us.
You mentioned me. Yes, I am in it. Also, we got Shaq Jordan, Hot Rod Daddy Andy of the LIM.
That's us.
Joey Dalton, who we've seen quite a few times.
Saw him at IPW for the first time against Hot Rod in what we thought was the match of the afternoon. So looking forward to seeing Joey and Hot Rod tying up again during that match.
The debut of Muggsy James.
All right, another guy we like.
and the champion, the Chicagoland champion, Kevin Cade.
So, Turtle, please promise whatever I am about to say, you are not going to shell shock the hell out of me for saying it.
I already read it, so we're all good.
Okay, all right. As long as we don't have issues like you and Tony Gabagool have, then I will go ahead and make with the predicting. The LIM predicts that Hot Rod Daddy Andy will win the scramble. It was very tough to make that prediction because it was between you and Turtle at the end of the day. But consensus came down to Hot Rod because he's LIM. We're maybe we are a little biased now that I'm thinking about it.
But let me ask you this. If he doesn't win, let's say if I happen to pull it off, you're still going to be okay with it.
I think we'll be okay with it. I mean, we did feel you were worthy of being inducted into LIM after all, but then Travis ruined that, but
I was close. I had my hand on the Chet.
You did have your hand on the Chet head. We may have to revisit that. I think we will.
Footage is out there.
It is. We documented it for posterity, and we saw that Travis interrupted it. And
but how far, or should I say, was he too late?
You didn't say the oath.
The whole oath?
You didn't say the oath. Now, there's my question for you. He's not here. Want to be inducted into LIM without Travis here?
I would have to do the whole thing, though. Touch the Chet head and do the oath at the same time.
We'll do it. We could do it pandemic style.
I don't want to relive the pandemic, though.
Fair enough. Okay, we won't do that. I don't want to relive it either. There was no wrestling in that time, dark time. Maybe after the next show, then.
Yeah, we'll do definitely. Or make sure we. Psst. Travis isn't listening, maybe when he's not around.
Oh,
we make sure he drives off.
I like that. We'll make sure he doesn't say goodbye to you again.
I still don't remember him saying goodbye. At the time he said it, supposedly, there were a lot of people around me and there were a lot of people talking to me. So he could have said it and I just didn't hear it. So, but that's kind of the story of my life. I tend to not hear things and then I get yelled at later on. But that's another story.
It's neither, as Steve would say, it's neither here or there.
Exactly. Okay. 3-on-1 handicap match. Aaron Stone versus the undeniable Ryan Matthews, Skylar Reed, and Devin August.
So, we think, now that Aaron Stone has his briefcase back, he's going to be a little more angry going into this match for all the stuff that the undeniable have been putting him through. And we think that Aaron Stone is going to come out the victor in this match. I mean, you have the Ryan Matthews. He's got that giant head, so we have two. Not that it's a contest. I mean, there's Skylar Reed and Devin August. They're from Canada. Canada? Are you kidding me? I mean, we got Aaron Stone. Aaron Stone is an all-American dream breaker, okay? I think at the end of the day, he's going to pull out the W.
I hope so, because, first of all, 3-on-1. And if Damian Saint has his way, he'll be out there too.
Mm-hmm. Gumming up the works.
But he claims he has no leadership. But yet, he's leading them. And taking pictures with them. He's not taking pictures with the idols. He's sure as hell not taking pictures with me, and I'm one of his stars. But he's with the Undeniable.
So here's what I'll say to that, and I know Damian Saint will be listening to this. So Damian Saint, based on, everything that you're claiming, I would say that you are undeniably full of shit.
Oh, snap.
That's not going to backfire on me in any way.
No.
Guarantee it. I don't think so. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you'll be alright.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah. It'll be just perfect. He's just gonna be like, whatever, I got other things to worry about. Yeah.
He'll shrug it off. He's known to do that.
He's level-headed like that,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, he'll just brush it off his shoulders.
Definitely.
Probably on the J-Beck, unfortunately, but he'll brush it off his shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Speaking of J-Beck, props to that guy. He's putting a lot of effort in making these characters on 2K23.
He is really just, the past couple days, the stuff that he's put out, and I will, say that I had every intention to work with him. Life has just kind of come in the way the past couple weeks. So, I will publicly apologize for how crazy things have been, and I do intend to put out some wrestlers myself. But J-Beck, just looking at every single wrestler, he puts so much care into all the created wrestlers. We're downloading them, we're plugging it on our page. He's doing a hell of a job with those, getting RPW's name out there.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on my guy, but there's a lot with me that, there's a lot of details.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more patience than I do. I created a one from, myself just for the hell of it to get some of the stuff going, and I just have no patience.
Mm-hmm. Technically, Davison Sarai has more patience than all of us because she's a therapist. But I know. Maximus Orion's going to be like, oh no, another dad joke.
Travis wants to be a patient.
Oh, man. Man, where do we start with that guy? Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Travis.
I'm not.
We know. Even though he's not on the show, but I feel like we got to make him part of the show just because it's his baby. It's his thing.
Fair enough. And it is a good show, and we listen every single week. Even if Travis rips us apart, we do enjoy hearing more about the Chicagoland indie scene, and you guys do a great job, covering everything going on in the scene. So, definitely on our list every single week.
I will say this: I'm probably never going to be in the driver's seat ever again, but after this, so
we're going to make it count. We're making it count.
All right, so we got a couple more matches. We have another triple threat tag.
All right.
Rockin' Rivera and Eric Schultz. I guess we can assume Rockin' is a member of the Undeniable.
It's very possible, because he's not an idol anymore, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he left the Idols. He says he's too good for them. So there's that. So me and him didn't get to really finish our thing, which is fine. Whatever, he can go do what he wants. He'd rather go hang out with the boss. So cool. They'll be taking on the final level of Marshe Rocket and the Shogun Chris Logan and Youth Gone Wild.
So we actually did a little math on this one. This guy Steiner came up with it. So we took time and we calculated the odds, and honestly, Nubby, the numbers don't lie. And we believe, after doing our calculations, that the final level has a 141 2/3 chance of winning at spring break. And I mean, Steiner, that's a guy that comes from a highly educated university, and we trust his method.
True. I mean, yeah. That's a lot of numbers, though.
It sure is, but strangely, it all adds up. I don't know how that mathematician wizard did it, but man, Steiner deserves the Nobel Prize. I'll say it. Hot take.
But you notice there was no algebra involved.
Algebra's evil. Why would you do algebra? I mean, that's the thing. He didn't, so.
If he didn't, then it's definitely useless. If he
exactly.
I mean, who wants to throw an A and a B and an X in there? I don't want to throw my X in there. I want to throw the X out.
Body slam it. Just gorilla press it out, whatever you got to do.
If I could body slam the X, it'd be awesome. No, never mind. That's another story.
We'd give the X a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah. And a 3D through a table.
There you go.
Flaming table.
It'll be Gabagool and me. I think that'll be... Yeah, that works. We'll have Gila Monster be Slime Guy. LIM.
Perfect.
My brother's
all right.
LIM. That'll work.
Yeah. All right, and then we got the main event. For the ARWPro title. It is champion Quinn Whittock versus Garrison Creed and Koa Laksamana, the Hawaiian Hitman.
So, out of these three guys, I have worked out with one of them. And, I was carb loading, so I figured maybe Koa wants to carb load with me. So I'd run in some chocolate donuts, It worked for Belushi. It'll work for PX. So he hit me with all his might, activated my core. And the point of that is, if he hits that hard, and I'll tell you, brother, I still feel that. I mean, there's not a chance he doesn't walk out with the title on Saturday. And I'm not just saying that because I'm afraid of him now or anything like that, but please don't hurt me, Koa. But, unrelated. But yeah, we don't think that he's gonna lose, and I think we'll have a new champion on Saturday.
There's just one factor. The crowbar.
The damn crowbar. So that is definitely a major X factor. It's come into play in a lot of Sexy Violence's title defenses over the past couple months. But I mean, I will say I have never been hit by a crowbar. Thank God. Travis may want to hit me with the crowbar after this episode. Probably Damian Saint too. But, I can say, with the punch, that punch is powerful, man. I guess what it's going to come down to is the punch more powerful? The Hawaiian punch? Or is it the crowbar that's more powerful?
Or what if Garrison Creed is more powerful than all of it?
Well, he did, yeah. I'm thinking back to December, last time he was there, and somebody got waterboarded. That was pretty powerful. That's another X. Lots of X factors in this match.
Yeah. Garrison Creed was in the match where I debuted. And he hit me pretty hard. He threw me a lot. Hit me. I don't know. This is a tough call. I mean, Cole Laksamana is, cleaning house lately, winning titles left and right.
All over the place.
Quinn Whittock is sexy violence for a reason.
And he's winning titles all over the place as well.
Yeah, he's champion in like 4 places now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he just won his 4th title this past weekend. He's now a tag champion on top of being a heavyweight champion everywhere else.
Right.
And we just saw him beat, had a great match with a student of his at IPW. And so, I don't know, I think Quinn's going to be a champion for a while. He wants it more, I think.
But I mean, and the thing is, Koa is just so red hot right now. I mean, again, winning titles everywhere.
Is that because he wears red?
Probably. That'll do it.
Does see red?
We'll check that on that in the Power Hour tomorrow.
Hey, Steve, you're listening. Ask C-Red if he sees red when he sees Koa Laksamana.
Also, PX says hello. Tell him that too, Steve.
Yeah. We all say hello.
Hello, C-Red.
Even Travis, even though he's not here. All right. That's the card for Rocket Pro Wrestling. Again, St. Joe's Park, 700 Theodore Street, Joliet, Illinois. Doors open at 4 p.m., bell time 5 p.m. Tickets, general admission is $15. Front row is $20. No advance. First come, first serve. So get there.
And I will add too, as someone who does usher, I was ushering last month, and the line was out the door by the merch tables. There were people everywhere, so you're going to want to get there early. Mm-hmm. There have been every single show at Rocket Pro Wrestling this season, from September to March. It's been standing room only. It's one of the hottest tickets in town. So if you want to make sure you get your ticket, and you want to make sure you get a seat, get there early.
Definitely. You can come see your favorite wrestlers, hang out with the Rocket Boys or the LIM. Stay away.
Hang out with us. We're cooler. We can drink.
True. But if you want a good laugh, look at the Rocket Boys. Just stay away from the, white girl wasted.
I would agree with that. You know what? Travis gave a compliment to the LIM begrudgingly last week, right?
Yeah.
I'll begrudgingly, give one to the Rocket Boys. I puked a little in my mouth, but I will say it. They do bring a lot of energy to the shows, and it's good to see fans like that. But they are still our rivals, and we are rowdier than them.
And they can't drink.
So there you go. That's all we got to say about it.
All right. PX. Got anything else that you like to talk about?
So,
anything in mind? I
got a couple things. First, Travis, while you may have won a couple battles against the LIM the past couple weeks, we just won one on you. This might be the very turning point of our JFW LIM feud that we find ourselves in. And I know you're going to be listening to this, and I know you're going to be reeling, but I just want to say, I popped some popcorn in your microwave while I was sitting in your house. I kind of burned it a little bit, so there might be a smell, but I'm sure it'll go away. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then the other thing I want to say is, Turtle, thank you for having me on and allowing me to be a guest host. I always, people within the business wanting to do stuff with LIM, and, I think it's so awesome. We're having a blast. I told somebody the other day that everything that we're doing right now with Rocket Pro with LIM, this is the most fun I have ever had in my life. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. And, it's people like you that, provide me with some opportunities to do things like this and feel involved, where I feel like, this crazy business is a place where I belong. So I'm very, very grateful.
I appreciate you coming on, and, I know Travis is gonna rip me a new one. Because I know he was looking forward to having Max Holiday. I'm sure he thought I was gonna have Max Holiday on here. And I'm sure he's gonna rip me a new one for having you.
We got your back.
But that's okay. And if I'm fired, I at least, I brought the numbers. Much like to Damian Saint, he's the one that says that he's the reason for standing room only. Well, I'm the one that brought the numbers to JFW, so maybe he won't fire me. He's just going to reprimand me big time.
We'll still have your back, and we'll make more signs. And again, this is a turning point. I think this is definitely a turning point in the right direction. You're doing the right thing.
I just realized.
What's that?
He is my boss on another wrestling esque type show. I may have just cost myself a title.
Politics in wrestling? When? That never happens. Are you sure about
that?
No.
All right. That's all you got, Mr. PX?
I have a little bit of beer left in this can, but as far as words to say, then yeah, I'm pretty much good.
All right. That's all I have for Turtle Indie Talk. As always, you can listen to these episodes on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, anywhere you podcast.
But we can't watch them, right? Because I think I heard that through the grapevine.
You cannot watch the audio versions of JFW. However, you can watch our special interviews, like the Ivan Manson one that's out there. Expect a follow-up on Ivan Manson in the very near future. That is in the works, just finding the time to get that second interview. There is a possibility of doing video shows in the summer, like how we're doing it now. We may go video in the summer, and there's going to be other stuff happening. JFW is getting bigger. The sister podcast, This Freaking Show, is also doing good things over at Freaknet Studios. So we're going in the right direction with this. So we expect a lot coming from JFW itself, and maybe do some stuff at promotions. You never know.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you can follow the LIM again, wherever you have social media. We are on Facebook at Lovely Intoxicated Men, ARWPro Wrestling Superfans. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. I almost said Tinder. Well, technically some of us are on Tinder. Swipe right if you see us on Tinder. You'll see us all over. We are at we_R_the_lim. Simple as that. Just to keep up with what we're doing. And, we are mainly at ARWPro, but we do want to take our show on the road and see some other shows. So if you see us around, come say hey.
All right. Now, at the end of the show, I should have mentioned this earlier, so we're working on the fly with this one. There's a line that I say at the end.
I know it.
I'm going to have you do it. Okay?
Oh, shoot.
All right.
So are you telling me? Okay. I'm excited. Hold on.
All right.
You're ready for me to say it. I've always wanted to do this.
You'll know.
Right.
But yeah, again, check us out on all those podcast outlets, even the YouTube. Fuck you, Alpha Zeta. PX, that's all I got.
I guess it's time to ring the bell on this episode.
All right. Thank you. As always, I am Nubby, the Amazing Turtle.
And this has been PX of the Lovely Intoxicated Men.
This has been another episode of Just Freaking Wrestling, the JFW Podcast. Cowabunga, dudes.